This is going to be probably one of the most difficult ones that I've ever had to do. PARADOXMAN316, I said I would talk about sexuality. And perhaps this all came about because one lady read in some detail some of my archives in my website, webmetagroups.info. Ron's articles, Ron's poems, in which I speak rather candidly about sexuality. And it's funny because last night we held the first of what will be 2 meetings on sexual healing. Gary Null's movie about that subject. And I felt extremely uncomfortable. And energies that are moving in my life right now feel extremely uncomfortable. So that's where I am. And Paradox Man, what does that mean? It means I tell the truth. And I'm being intimate with the whole world, potentially, because anybody that wants can look at these videos and have an insight into me. I'm being intimate with you, whoever you are, whether you're male or female, no matter what. There are no conditions. This is a universal thing. It goes out to everybody. A spiritual being having a human experience. There are many challenges to the human experience. Some of them I have experienced personally. Some I don't remember experiencing in this lifetime or in any other lifetime, but I probably did. But I've always had a vision since I was a young man. And it's become more clear, even as I've gotten older, that I'm supposed to be connected to a spiritual partner who is also a sexual partner. I have an image of my muse, my inner woman. I've seen her in dreams, although truthfully not so much in recent years. Used to see her all the time. And I'd wake up totally aroused and totally erotic. So why does the Paradox Man choose to reveal such intimate details of his life with the world? I did it in Paradox magazine, which I published for 5 years, from 1996 to 2001, 60 straight months. I've posted things that I've written online in some detail. This is my story. In December of this past year, 2010, in meditation, I sensed that Spirit was telling me that 2011 would be a year of tremendous change. And I had to stop waiting for my spiritual partner to show up in my life. Which I did. And until last night, I was fairly comfortable with that and extremely excited about what was happening in my world and in my life. Sensing the energies and creating these videos, which are an outgrowth of getting on with what I'm here to do. To share myself with the world. To give you my life, whoever you are. To tell you the truth, not just truth that I think is spiritual or political, but my wounds. As I shared last night, they wanted to know a little bit about our sexual history. And I'm not going to go into great detail, but I didn't have intercourse with a woman until I was almost 22 years old on my wedding night. I was raised a fundamentalist Christian, and believe it or not, I pretty much kept the rules. And I went through 14 years of marriage, and I don't consider that it was a good marriage except for the 2 children that were produced, both of whom I still have a good relationship with. But as far as the relationship with the woman that was my first wife in this lifetime, it was not a good relationship. It was argumentative, very, very frustrating for both of us. And there were times that I prayed, God, please let one of us die. I don't care which one, but I don't like this. And my second wife was totally different, had very different personality, and we did share a lot of intimacy and a lot of sex. Well, both wives, I shared a lot of sex. But because of money situations, she decided that she couldn't stay with me, even though she loved me. And in fact, we kissed outside of the divorce court, and she said, I love you very much, but I'll never see you again. And I never did. I had a couple of long-term relationships where there was no marriage, one of which I was engaged to a lovely, lovely lady who I still consider to this point the love of my life. And shortly after she had a hysterectomy, a few days, she laid in bed and she said, you deserve a complete woman. And that was the end of our sex life, right? Well, it ended a couple of days before that, obviously, for obvious reasons. But I've never been promiscuous in my entire life. I've never been able to allow myself to just enjoy having sex. There has to be, I have to feel like this is a potential partner for an extended period of time. I'd never taken sex to be a frivolous act. It's a spiritual act. It's a deep, sacred union of souls. And sometimes I think that I've got it all wrong, that I need to learn to just relax and play and be in the moment and not try to figure out the future from the now, which I've done, not project my image of what the relationship is supposed to be, but just allow it to happen. And it's been a real challenge to do that. So I don't know who will watch this or who will be drawn to it, but I'm admitting to you and to anyone else that watches that this is the biggest sadness. And it's interesting because last night, as I was asked to express a little bit about my sexual history, and I did say all I need to do is express sexual interest in a woman and she's out of there, and she doesn't even take time to explain why and tell me what I did wrong. I guess she guesses that I'm just supposed to know it. And it's supposed to be so obvious as the nose on my face, but it's not. And the silence and the unwillingness to communicate feelings honestly hurts far worse than telling the truth. I've always been willing to be vulnerable. I've been willing to be vulnerable for a very long time, and to be truly intimate and share my soul, bare my soul. I've been less willing to bear my body. Not that I have anything wrong with my body. I have a beautiful body. For a man my age, I'm really, really pleased and proud of how I've taken care of myself and how Spirit has taken care of me. And I still have a lot of, I don't even remember the word in this moment, but anyway, I started to say last night when I shared that about the experience of women running. Anger. I was feeling angry. Not so much, well, yes, at the women too, because I felt and still feel somewhat that we all owe it to each other to tell each other the truth. And if something comes up for somebody and you trigger something, I mean, recently I had a woman that was somewhat interested in me, but she told me the truth. She says, "You remind me of my dad, and I hate him." And obviously she didn't want to get close to me, and I wasn't tremendously attracted to her anyway. And that's the other thing. I have an image of what this person is supposed to look like. That's my spiritual partner. And not everybody meets that image. And maybe that's very superficial of me, because it's a physical image. It's a physical image. It's an image that turns me on. Anyway, the paradox man is very human and very spiritual and very sexual. I have a high libido. I've had a high libido for a long time. And I don't ever want it to die, even if I've got to just share it with me. So anyway, I love beautiful women. I'm greatly attracted to their beauty, to their softness, to their sensuality, to their bodies, to their souls, to their spirits. That's the truth. Some people may not understand. Fundamentalist Christians may not get it. And this is something I'm still learning. I don't know if anything that I've said makes sense. I haven't listened to it yet. I'm just talking to you from my heart. And it's not been easy to do. But it's all I'm going to say for now. Peace to each of you. Namaste.